Before we get into the history, I just want to share this with you. What is jealousy? Does anybody know? Okay, we'll start with you.
Jealousy is when you type of greed where you want something that someone else has.
Yeah.
And because you wish you were that person or something like that, you wish you had something that person has, and you kind of like you feel like you don't have anything. It's like like greed, something like that.
That's great.
It's like when someone else has a friend, but you don't really have a good friend, and they're jealous because they don't have many friends as them, and they think they're more special than them.
That is great. You're really hitting it on the head. Hey, go ahead.
Like, say you have presents for Christmas, and other people around the world don't, and they feel bad
Yeah.
because they don't have them. And they feel bad.
Hi, honey. Yeah, jealousy, it's like a sickness, okay? I remember when I was a kid, I had a rich friend, and I used to go over his house a lot. And at his house, they had 2 cars. Back then, you only had 1 car in the family. They had 2 telephones in the house. And I said, my God, they got 2 phones. And my friend had his own bedroom. I had to share my bedroom with my brother. And my bedroom had slanted ceilings, because our house was a cape. And I'd get up in the morning, I'd bang my head. And my friend had this fancy Columbia bike. And I was so jealous because I had an old J.C. Higgins bike that my dad bought me, and he fixed it up as a used bike. So when my friend was 13, he had a birthday party, and his family hired this big fancy place that we went to. We had a fancy meal and all that, and they did everything for him. So when it was my birthday, my 13th birthday, I was afraid to ask my friends to come because it was going to be in my parents' cellar. And my mom was going to be cooking all the snacks and all that. So anyways, when I had my 13th birthday, we had it in the cellar. And my mom, she cooked all the snacks. And we had an old record player. We were playing oldies. Back then they were new. And, and we were dancing around. And everybody at my party says that was the best party that they ever been to. So it goes to show you, when you're jealous, if somebody has better sneakers than you, or somebody has a better pair of coat.
If you're just too perfect, that's not good.
No, it's not good. No.
You should be just right.
Yep.
Not too perfect.
Got to always be grateful for what you got, because God always provides. So when you see somebody's got something better, don't even give it a second thought, because what you have is good enough. Yes, honey? Yeah. Okay, now, so don't ever be jealous. Now we're going to move on to the history of the church. We're going to bounce all around today. I'm just going to do like a refresher, but the first thing I'm going to say is to the whole church, does everybody know who this guy is? Everyone raise their hands. Okay, we all know that that's Dean Mark. Okay? Now, does everybody know the first pastor of this church by raising their hands? Okay. Well, we'll go over here.
I think it's Jonathan.
No? No? Anyways, and Joyce?
I think Samuel Todd.
Samuel Todd is the right answer. Okay? He was the first pastor of the church. And this Thursday, excuse me, on the 20th of November is the official birthday of this church. That's when all the paperwork and documents were all done, and this church started its birth on November 20th, back in 1739. Now, the first, you see these pictures here? These are pictures that you guys drew of what you thought the first church looked like. And RJ, you want to help me out? Want to get me a picture of the first church? It's right. Oh, let me get this one. Nope, that's not it. We'll get it. It disappeared. we'll show you the picture of the very first place that we started worshiping in, and that was down in Thomaston. You go walk. Yeah. These are in comparison. The kids drew what they thought the church looked like without seeing this, and this is roughly where that was on the Thomaston Green. Down in Thomaston, it was like a small schoolhouse that we used to borrow. So, anyways, this here, like I say, is Samuel Todd's acceptance speech to become pastor of this church. This is a copy of it. He wasn't a good speller, but that's when he accepted to become the first pastor of this church, which is sort of neat. Now, Samuel Todd, when he started preaching, he preached for 24 years, and he got involved with this new life way of preaching, and it was by Jonathan Edwards. It had this new way of teaching across the United States. The only reason why I remember that name, Jonathan Edwards, because a real great oldie called "Everyone's Gone to the Moon" back in 1966. I don't know if you guys remember that. That's the only reason why I remember Jonathan Edwards. All right? So anyways, when he started preaching this new life way of preaching, a lot of people, some people liked it, some people didn't like it. And like half the church split. He says, hey, I don't dig this way of preaching. So during this 24 years, the church grew, and a lot of people left the church. So we're going to move on from Samuel Todd, now we're going to jump over to the cemetery. Okay, RJ, that's all set. Now, does anybody know how many soldiers are buried out in that cemetery?
I'm just taking a random guess. 100?
No, you're too high.
57?
You're still too high.
21?
21? No. Go, you want to go again? Okay.
I'm 3.
3. Okay, you're 3. I know you're a smart girl for 3.
37?
You're getting close.
39?
You're getting even closer.
45?
Nope, it's 42. 42.
I was going to guess
You were going to say that next. I knew you were. Out in that old cemetery, I came up with, gotta get my glasses on, 626 people buried out there. Out of that 626, ages 0 to 10 years old, there's 148 kids buried out there. Ages 11 to 20, there's 38 kids buried out there. Ages 21 to 30, there's 73 buried out there. 31 to 40 is 56. 41 to 50 is 41. 51 to 60 is 42. 61 to 70 is 57. 71 to 80 is 102. 81 to 90 is 60. And there's only 9 people that are buried out there that range between the ages of 91 to 100. So sadly, back then they had diphtheria and a lot of diseases and deaths at birth. Sadly, a lot of kids are really buried out there. That's a very, very important cemetery. A lot of history out there. Now, okay, RJ, you want me to show that next? You remember when we talked about this?
Yeah. School.
Do you know? Yep. You know where that was?
Oh, it just says.
Yeah. Where was it?
It's here.
Yeah, it was right next to the thrift store. And Marilyn went to that. You went to that school, okay? It was sort of a neat school. All right, now we're going to move on. Has anybody ever heard of the Underground Railroad? Okay. Yeah. Go ahead. I'll give him a turn. All right. You know, what is the Underground Railroad? Harry Tubman? Yep, you're on the right track. Go ahead.
The underground.
Hmm?
Oh, wait. What should we do?
Yeah, we'll give her a shot.
The Underground Railroad is where slaves were taken to freedom.
You are right. Yep. Yeah, you were going to say the same thing?
Yeah.
And how about you? Kathy?
That house is very beautiful. I really like that.
Okay. All right, the Underground Railroad, now we're gonna go over here, okay? No, that's not it. We had, 4 underground, okay, go ahead, you can carry it. 4 Underground Railroad agents from this church that helped free the slaves. And they would, down in north, down in Canada, slaves were free. And all the slaves would work their way up. You know, there was all what they call Underground Railroad, a lot of agents, mostly churches. They would help free the slaves. And what they would do, they had a lot of different ways of hiding slaves. And this was one of them. You see this wagon here? See the wagon? They would hide slaves in here, and it looked like just a wagon was being hauled with hay on it. And they compiled a lot of different. They had quilts. Everybody knows what a quilt is, right?
Yes.
You don't know what a quilt is? That's like a big blanket. That's and what they would do is these blankets, people would hang them outside the windows. They would hang them on the porches, and they all had codes of giving the slaves codes. Say it's safe to go here. Don't stay away from this area. And these are all codes that all the slaves learned. You know, to seek their freedom. Now, across the street. This house, everybody's seen this house, right?
Yes. The old house.
Yep. Now, what's so special about this house? Hmm?
It has underground railroad here.
Underground.
It has some tunnels in it. Betty will show
You are right. Underground tunnels.
My dad went in there.
He did? Yeah? Yeah.
There's a lot of windows too, and you can look down into the wild and
Yeah.
get the electrical tubes.
Yeah. Yes, Kevin? Down, oh, there's Kevin. Anyways, down in the cellar, there was an underground tunnel where they would hide slaves, and that tunnel went way up into the woods where the slaves had a way to, you know, escape. Now, we're going to move on to, what should we do next? And if RJ wants to walk down the aisle with this is a picture of Pastor Bill Hawley in school, in class. Right? This is about 1905, Pastor Bill Hawley was. Yes, the school was over there. Now, you can walk right down the aisle with it, RJ, so I can see it better. Now, here's a very important guy that used to go to this church. He grew up as a kid. He used to sit right. Well, these pews weren't here, but he went to this church. And his name is Blakesley, Aristotus Blakesley. And what's so important about him is he wanted to be a pastor. And when he became old enough, he started going to seminary. So the Civil War broke out. Abraham Lincoln needed a lot of soldiers, volunteers. He got out of seminary and joined the service. And in 5 years' time, he became brigadier general. And that's a sort of a special feat. And not only that, is when he was out on the front lines, a lot of his French soldiers were getting killed because they couldn't load their guns fast enough. He had a Spencer rifle. I believe you got one, right? You got one? Dan, you got a Spencer rifle? No. Okay, I thought you did. Anyways, the Spencer rifle, he came up with an idea called the special cartridge that would hold the Blakesley. And he invented this. And Abraham Lincoln, this guy here did a demonstration. What you got, Archie? Okay. Yeah, that's another picture of the front of the church. Him and Spencer did a demonstration for Abraham Lincoln showing how fast they could load rifles and all. And this saved thousands and thousands of lives. And when he came out of the service, he went back and finished his work to become a pastor. And during that course, he wasn't pastor here. It's too bad he wasn't. He started writing books. Many, many books, which are still being made today through Amazon and stuff like that. We had a lot of pastors in this church that have written books. So he was a very, very special guy. Now, do you remember back, you kids, remember what I said was set up on the green over here? You remember what's set up on the green? This big old church. St. Peter's. Okay.
Oh, yeah, the church across the street?
Yep, and what happened to that church? And do you know what year it burnt down? 1915. All right, what's so special about this church is they had a priest there. Remember that? Sorry, just got to run back.
There's no more over there.
They won't know? Then it's got to be here, aren't they? You can walk that down there and show them how these look down on the green, aren't they?
Where the rock is, one more match in the
Oh, this guy right here. Okay, he was a priest at St. Peter's. And I don't know if you remember what I told you about him. What, honey? He was a priest that used to preach over at that church. This priest, he was heavily involved with any activities for the kids around in the church. And he took these a young group of boys fishing. And anyways, it was a boat with a sail on it. And when they were out fishing, the wind caught the sail and it threw one of the kids. Actually, the kid that got thrown over used to play the organ in that church. And he dove in after him because he knew the kid didn't know how to swim. And sadly, the kid died along with the priest, but he tried frantically to save his life. And he was very, very well priest. Okay, now let's talk about some other things. You see these pillars right here? You remember what I told you about these pillars? What? Yeah, it holds the church. But back in 1870, these were wood. Now,
It's still wood.
no, this is cast iron, Margie. So what happened is that the membership, the highest membership in this church was around 600 people. And these balconies used to be packed with people. And the original wood columns were starting to bow. In 1870, they had to put these cast iron pillars in to support the whole upper area of the balcony. You remember what I said about the front of the church right here? Months ago? Now, what was on this wall here? Was a big window. And they took that window out, closed it up because it used to distract when they were trying to do the service. Now, back then, you see we have an organ here. That is the second organ, second pipe organ, because up in the balcony, I believe it was a reed pipe organ. They had this organist, her name was Nellie Candy, and she played that and passed away around 1914. She left $1,000 for the church. And they thought it would be neat, since she spent 30 years playing that reed pipe organ, to take that money and start a pipe organ fund. So 1914 is when the pipe organ fund originated, and sadly it took like 15 years to get enough money up to buy the very, very first organ. The very, very first organ was a Harry Hall, I believe, right?
Yes.
Yep. And that organ, they dedicated it in June of 1930. So that was a special deal. It took that long to raise that kind of money. And this is an awesome organ, I believe, right? Okay, I believe the Harry Hall organ sat over in that area, right?
Console sat here, pipes were up there, those are.
Oh, the actual pipe. I got pictures of the actual organ companies that made the organs for this church. And if you want, I'll pass them around. You just keep circulating. And yeah, this Candy. Ever hear of Candy now? Yeah, she's a special girl. What else I want to share with you? Yeah, we already talked that already. I think I just about covered everything I wanted to cover today. But there is so much history in this church, and there's so many over the years, so many precious people that have come and gone in this church. And it would be sort of neat, you know. I think that the total members of this church is a little over, what, 200, right? Less than that. But to think at one time we had like 600 members of this church. And hopefully someday this church will start growing again. It just takes, well, help from God. So dear, you like organ music? Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty neat. Okay, dear God, thank you so much for this wonderful church. Thank you so much for all the wonderful members in this church. Please help this church to grow. We thank you for all we do, all you've given us, and thank you, dear Lord, for everything. And what's coming up, matter of fact, in a couple weeks? Thanksgiving. That's getting back to being jealous. We got to give thanks for everything that God has given us. Always remember, be thankful every day for what God gives you. If you haven't got the best thing, that's all right. Thanks, kids.
Thank you, George.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
Oh, I knew there's one more thing I forgot. This is the third church. The very first church was built in 1746 here. It stood 46 years. The second church only stood 45 years. We are in our 176th year of this church. So that's sort of special. I Love Lucy, yeah? I'm surprised you know who I Love Lucy is.